Hi, hello, we're back. Do you remember me? If not, it's okay. I don't blame you. It's been a minute, but I am back. Apologies for being bad with filming. After my vacation, I came back and started working full time, and then I started my law school applications, and life just got the best of me. But yeah, I wanted to, as you can tell, we are long overdue for a wrap up for the month of June and July. So I'm gonna combine them because we did not do a whole lot of reading this summer. I'm sad to report, but what can you do? So some of the books that I'm gonna just briefly mention are some that I've dedicated whole videos to, so I'm gonna try not to repeat myself too much, but yeah, so as you know, for the month of June, I was traveling, visiting family and my partner's family as well, so hence the lack of reading, I think, because I was just going from place to place. But I started off my month on a really good high note, and I just kind of stayed there. Like, I was vibing the whole month. I wish I could have been more present in my reading, but I have to say what I did read was top notch. So yeah, we read Blueberries. Again, I'm just gonna add to the hype of this book that Rebecca has generated, and for good reason. It was beautiful nonfiction essay collection, but they are very experimental in their form. Like, there's a newspaper article type setup, there are poems in here, there are essay formats obviously, and all essays engage in really interesting conversations around feminism, capitalism, just anything that we are plagued with living in 2021. This book covers it in a really masterful way, very thought-provoking, and Elena Savage is one smart lady, so highly recommend this one. Then I wanted something a little sci-fi, something a little different, so I picked up The Word for World is Forest by Ursula K. Le Guin. I love her other book that I've read, The Dispossessed, so I was very excited to pick up this little novella. And the trope of this book is a very familiar one. We are presented with a planet that is inhabited by a local population of very tranquil, non-combative folks that are being colonized by a Earth-like type planet / people. And there's obviously a clash because the colonizers want to enslave the native population, and they're like, what? This is a foreign concept to us. What are you doing? And so there's a clash, and well, actually, won't spoil the end, but that's basically the premise. So similar to like Avatar and other familiar stories that follow the same kind of like narrative arc and trope, like I said. But one of the things that really stuck out to me in this book is the local inhabitants of this planet that the colonizers are trying to take over. They see their lived conscious reality the same, if not less important, as their dream world subconscious reality. And so that's what makes them like superior or more interesting, and that's why they look down upon the like humans, because they haven't awoken yet, or they don't elevate their consciousness as much as the local population, because they really hone in on their ability to discern dreams and to place importance in what we experience when we go to bed and take that into consideration. And that's, like I said, just as much part of their lives as it is when they're awake, their conscious reality. So I just found that really cool and very thought-provoking, and I wish that Ursula Le Guin could have written a little bit more about that, because that's just like not the main storyline, if you will, but it's just like a subliminal like stream that flows through the entire book that I just found really appealing and cool, and something I don't read a lot about. So yeah, kind of cool, something different. I always like to try and branch out, and I loved The Dispossessed, so I figured I would pick up another Ursula Le Guin. And although this was not like amazing, I still enjoyed it. And like I said, I just thought that dream conscious versus subconscious element was really interesting. So yeah. Then we read The Undocumented Americans by Carla Cornejo Villavicencio, and this book was incredible. Wow, I'm so happy I own this and it wasn't a library copy for once. She is a undocumented gal living in the United States, and she shares her own personal biography and her family's, but brings in the voices of other undocumented folks living in the US, and it's done in such a thoughtful, empathetic, human way. She's going against the narrative of criminalizing these bodies, of erasing the realities of these vulnerable people, and it was just absolutely stunning and a really important read, I think. I know this book got a lot of hype, rightfully so, when it first came out, and I can't recommend it enough. It was so well done and heartbreaking, but so powerful and just a beautiful read. So if you haven't picked this up, highly, highly recommend it. And major props to the way that Carla shares these stories as well as her own, because it really blew me away. So I highly recommend this guy. Then I briefly talked about this book, but I just want to talk about it again because, again, it blew me away. I'm telling you, this month was a good month. Or not this month, I guess this was June, but we're still riding on that high. The next book and the last book I actually read in June was The Argonauts by Maggie Nelson. This is also nonfiction, and she discusses writing, motherhood, as well as her very beautiful relationship with her partner and her conceiving her child, and like I said, motherhood. And it was just, I don't even have the words to really convey what this book was about. To me, it was just a magical journey of discovery, poetry, of just really high intellectual ways of thinking and talking through things. And I was just blown away by Maggie Nelson, to be honest. And like I said in a previous video where I talked about this, I just felt so much like love and admiration for this person and the way that they are sharing their story, and like I said, just thinking through things. And something I noticed after the fact was that the book almost invites you to engage with what you're reading and consuming and add to that conversation or put down your own thoughts as you're reading, because the whole book gives you so much space to annotate or underline or, you know, make your own contributions, if you will. At least that's how I interpret it. And I just thought that was really cool because I was talking with one of my really good friends, Hannah, and she said, this was a while ago, but there was a line in this book that we were talking about. It's Maggie Nelson is reflecting back on when she first met her partner. And she says that that was her reward for doing solitude well. And Hannah and I had a long conversation about this. And as I was reading this book, I was like, oh my God, this is what she was talking about, because this was years ago. But anyways, this is all to say that she read it and underlined and annotated the book, and then she gave it to her girlfriend. Her girlfriend did the same. Then she gave it to a friend, and the friend did the same. And now she's got this precious book with not only what stood out to her and was, you know, beautiful to her, special that she underlined or wrote, but now she has the voice of two other people. And I just thought that was so beautiful and the perfect book to do that with. So, because like I said, you just have so much room to engage in little side conversations with yourself or with anyone else that you lend your book to, as well as she engages in conversation with other scholars, feminist critical thinkers, and it was just a joy to read. So I I'm not doing this book justice, but go into it blind with an open mind and you will be blown away. So yes, that was June. Then July, we read The Pisces, which I've already discussed. Loved Melissa Broder. I love you. You are just the best. So witty, so dark, so gross in the best way possible. I guess that the gross more applies to So Sad Today. But yeah, I loved The Pisces. What a great surprise, honestly. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. Then I read Fake Accounts, which I also talked about. 10 out of 10. I read Sex Will Be Good Again, and I'm blanking on who wrote it, the author. But that book was not for me. Did not learn anything. It's nonfiction, and we're engaging, obviously, in a conversation around sex, pleasure, consent. But it just didn't do it for me. I didn't learn anything new. I felt like it was very heteronormative. The author doesn't even make a mention that, you know, she's gonna maybe talk about her own positionality as a cis heterosexual woman. So I just felt like there was a complete erasure of any other sexualities or ways to think about sex. So yeah, I thought that was kind of lacking, and I genuinely, the entire time I was reading it, I was like, this feels like you're in a first year course and the prof is selling you their book, and inside that book that you have to buy for your first year seminar is the syllabus with all the other readings and like studies that you have to read throughout the course, because she name drops like every 5 lines. She talks about like another study or like another scientist or another whatever. And then all she does to contribute is just like ask a question or like critique said study. And I'm just like, sister, like I need a little bit more from you. Like, what do you have to say about it? Like, what are you bringing to the table that these other people that you're shitting on didn't? Or like, you know what I mean? I just didn't understand what was going on. Like, there was no new nuanced perspective that she brought to the table. And there was just citations and references to so many other things that I was just like, huh? So yeah, I don't know. That one just wasn't for me. If you have a different perspective, then I would like to hear it. I won't be mad, but I just didn't vibe with that one. So that was the only meh read of the month, to be honest. And then I'm trying to think if I read Pew, which I also talked about. I feel like I read that early August or maybe end of July. I'm not really sure. Who knows? But you also know my thoughts on that book because I recorded it. So there you have it. Those are all the books that I've read so far, or that I read, actually, that's a lie. I've read more books since then, and get ready for August because all the books I've read this month have also been great. So I'm feeling good. We're back in the saddle, doing some reading, and I will see you all very soon. Let me know if you've read any of these guys and what your opinions were, whether they were good or bad. I'm all ears. So I'll see you all very soon. I hope you're staying hydrated out there because boy, is it hot where I am. So yeah, I'll see you all very soon. Bye.